In the icy expanse of Siberia, where winter rules with steel teeth, the city of Novosibirsk stands like a lonely fortress. It is Russia's third-largest city, a place where sub-zero temperatures are normal, and survival is part of daily life. But during one particularly brutal winter, Novosibirsk faced not just cold and hunger, but howling danger from the forests beyond. Locals began to whisper, not about one wolf, but a pack, bold and brutal, that had left the woods behind and ventured into human space. The predators were not afraid. They came in search of food, and they came together.
Wolves are not strangers to Siberia. In fact, they are part of its myth. But what made this event so terrifying was the coordination and boldness of the pack. Not lurking shadows, but organized hunters. Eyewitnesses reported wolves prowling the outskirts, attacking livestock, and even tearing through enclosures. These weren't isolated animals, this was a unit. The pack, estimated to be over 60 strong, moved with military precision. They struck, fed, vanished, then returned. Local farmers lost dozens of sheep and cattle in mere days. Some said the wolves had eyes like frostbitten glass, blank yet burning. In the blackness of a Siberian night, even the bravest dared not leave their homes.
Panic set in. Police patrols were sent, warnings issued. The government deployed teams of hunters. But the wolves were clever, they knew the terrain better than any human. They used the tree lean, the shadows, the ice itself, to remain invisible until they chose to strike. In one chilling incident, a group of schoolchildren was evacuated from a rural village after fresh tracks were found circling the playground. The fear became real. These wolves weren't just hungry, they were emboldened. Locals began organizing watch groups. Fires were lit at night. Gunshots echoed from the farms. For weeks, it felt as if the old rules between predator and prey had been reversed.
Experts suggested a terrifying answer: the balance had tipped. Deforestation, extreme cold, and declining prey populations had driven the wolves to desperation. No longer content with rabbits or deer, they were now hunting livestock, and if they had to, perhaps people. In some remote settlements, villagers claimed to hear the pack howling in perfect unison, a sound so deep and coordinated it made windows rattle. It was as though the wolves were not just animals anymore. They were a force.
Hunters eventually managed to track and cull several of the most aggressive members of the pack. Skirmishes were reported for weeks. Gun battles in the woods, carcasses in the snow. But even as the attacks slowed, one thing became clear. The wolves had made their presence known. And even if some were killed, many had vanished back into the forest, watching, waiting, remembering.
Today, the Wolves of Novosibirsk are spoken of like a ghost story, but one that really happened. Locals remember that winter not just for the cold, but for the nights when they heard footsteps outside, too heavy for a man, too numerous to count. They were not monsters. They were survivors. Creatures of instinct, pushed to the brink by human expansion and environmental collapse. But for those who heard their cries echoing off the ice, the lesson is unforgettable.